Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Easy English Bible Study podcast. My name is David Gray, and together we're going to read the Bible, and I will make some comments in easy to understand English. Okay, let's get started. Hello again. Today we're looking at the Epiphany of Our Lord. Okay, today's reading is for the Epiphany of our Lord in the church calendar. The reading is taken from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verses 1 to 12. The Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verses 1 to 12. And this is all about the Magi coming to visit Jesus. Okay, let's start. Chapter 2, verse 1. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem, in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." Let's look at these verses. So, historically, this is the time of King Herod. He is the king of Judea. And the Magi have come from the east. We don't know exactly where they've come from. They might be from Persia, and they might be astrologers. So they've come to see the King of the Jews. Let's read on. Verse 3, when King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. So why is King Herod disturbed? Well, they said, "We've come to see the King of the Jews." And King Herod is the king. So he does not like to hear about another king being born. The Jews in that area are under him. He is their king. And so when they say King of the Jews, that is a threat to his power. You'll notice they said King of the Jews, so that means that the Magi are not Jewish, they are Gentiles. Gentiles is the word for people who are not Jewish. Okay, verse 4. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. King Herod wants advice from the religious leaders. So he asks for help from the chief priests and the teachers of the law. And this is their answer. Verse 5. In Bethlehem in Judea, they replied, for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. This is from Micah, chapter 5, verses 2 and 4 in the Old Testament. This is a prophecy, a prediction from 700 years before. The Messiah is expected to be born in Bethlehem. Verse 7, Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. It's interesting that he calls for them secretly. Remember, he is threatened by the birth of Jesus, who they called King of the Jews, and whom the chief priests and the teachers of the law call the Messiah. Verse 8, He sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him. So, does King Herod really want to worship him? Does he really want to worship baby Jesus? No, he doesn't. He wants to know where he is so that he can maybe capture him, or maybe he wants to kill the baby. Verse 9, After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. Okay, so they were following a star to baby Jesus. What an amazing miracle this is. We don't know exactly what it looked like, but it must have been very different and very special. Verse 11, On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother, Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So here we see that they bowed down and worshipped him, which is interesting because they are not Jews, they're not Jewish, but they see him as the King of the Jews. And it's interesting too, on coming to the house, they were visiting Mary and Jesus in their house, or a house. You know, many times we see pictures of traditional pictures of the shepherds and the Magi together visiting baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph. But actually, this is not correct. The Magi, or the Wisemen, came later. They came later when Jesus and Mary were in a house. Also, many times we see in pictures, in art, 3 Magi. Why is that? We see 3 Magi because there are 3 gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But actually, we don't know how many Magi there were. We don't know if there were 2 or 3, 4, or more. The reason why people have 3 Magi is because there were 3 gifts. But again, we don't know how many came. Verse 12, And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. I wonder what country that was. We don't know. Well, that's the end of the reading. One thing I find interesting from this reading is that the Magi were from the East. And so they were from outside of Israel. They were not Jewish. They were Gentiles. And here we see that baby Jesus and Jesus now is not only the King of the Jews, but he is the King of everyone. So that is very good news. Okay, well, today we read a very famous reading, and I hoped that it was easy to understand for you. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope that you will continue to listen to this podcast. If you have any comments, please be sure to leave a comment. If you're using an app where you can say thumbs up or like, please like this podcast. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much, and God bless you.